Hey everyone, Travis here on LCS Week 6, Day 2, joined by Dexter and Doublelift, the double Ds of CLG. How's it going, Doublelift?
D plus, dude.
Yeah.
That's we're feeling pretty good after our 2 wins this
Yeah.
weekend.
The mic is not close enough.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello. We're
It's
feeling
sensitive.
really well.
Yeah.
Feel like really good or really well.
I felt like I taught you how to hold the microphone in previous interviews.
Shut up, Travis. Is it good now?
Dexter, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to go through this entire interview without referencing Europe once. So let's get going. All right, so you guys just won against Coast. Shifter pulled out the LeBlanc, which has been doing really well. It had like a 12-1 streak before, and now it's 12-2. Doublelift, why did you allow them to get LeBlanc? Were you just not afraid of it, or what's the deal?
Well, we let them get LeBlanc because if they picked it, then we would then get 2 really OP champions. So I think we early picked like Elise and Renekton, and that worked out really well for us. I mean, we know that LeBlanc is really strong, but we're confident that Link can beat any LeBlanc players mid. And like Link did lose lane a little bit, but LeBlanc didn't really have that much game impact. I think Renekton and Elise did a lot more than Shifter did.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Elise. You went 6-0, I believe. You never died, Dexter, the Immortal. Is that what it is? So, what allowed you to do so well and just rampage to that game?
Well, I got the Elise in champion selection. That's it. It's so easy to just get kills on Elise early game, and especially if you have Renekton that has a stun to set up the gank, then there's no way. Like, we just dove him level 3 straight up, and he couldn't do anything against it. It's just like how Elise works. You get pushed into the tower, and then you just die under it. So it's nothing you can do. No counterplay, pretty much.
So if the answer to the question of, how were you able to go 6-0 on Elise is that you got Elise in Champions Select, does that mean that in every single game in the future, whenever we see you pick Elise, that you should at least go 6-0?
Yeah, but I won't get her again.
Okay. So from here on out, you won't get Elise, but if you do, you'll go at least 6-0.
I try my best, yeah, to go 6-0.
Well, that doesn't. Now you're saying try your best, Dexter.
I will. 100%.
People have been talking about fluff interviews. I'm going to grill you guys now. Doublelift. What else happened in that game that you felt? Was it all the Elise, or what? What else was going on there?
Well, our late game was like 10 times better than theirs. So like we have Vayne, Alistar is amazing scaling. Orianna's obviously not like an early game champion. She's like a mid late game champion. And then Elise never really falls off. Renekton falls off a little bit. So we like our early game just hinged on getting Renekton fed. And we did. We got Renekton really fed. Nyan threw the lane. I don't really know how he threw the lane. But that was really bad, and that ended up giving Coast like an opening because Shiv could then roam and like had like presence. But we executed our plan. Nyan made a mistake, whatever, not a big deal. And then we just knew that if we got it to like 25 minutes or so, and I had my like BT and Phantom Dancer, that we would just win, and that's exactly what happened.
Dexter, along those lines, Nyan seems to be having a hard time top lane every now and then. Is that just because you're not there supporting him as a jungler?
Well, I don't really care what happens top lane, to be honest. I just know that bot lane is like 4-on-4, and we crush 4-on-4 every game pretty much that we're in. And then if the 4-on-4 is going well, we just take like 4 towers, and then Nyan is usually coming back. But yeah, top lane is pretty isolated in most of the games. So it's just 2 tanks hitting each other, and at a certain point they are unkillable. So we just have, like in most of our games, we just have Shyvana, and Shyvana outscales everything at top lane. We just sacrifice Shyvana's early game with like 20-30 CS, and then we just let Shyvana come into the team fights and carry the game.
Now, Doublelift, you guys went 2-0 this week. Of course, Reddit will not make any threads about this. Instead, they'll just talk about how much Coast and XDG suck rather than about your guys' success.
Yep, exactly.
So I'd love to know, like, is this the start of CLG rise back to power? Because I asked you guys this question about once every 2 to 3 weeks for the past 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'd just love to know, is this it?
Well, because I've answered yes pretty much every time in the last 3 years, this time I'm just going to say no.
All right.
And maybe this will change something. But yeah, I really think that beating, like, I guess, worse teams than us and consistently is like a really big step in actually being a good team. Because I honestly thought that last season 3 and during those splits, we were actually like a pretty decent team, but you couldn't really see it because of how inconsistent and horrible we were. We would just like win against Cloud9, win against TSM all the time, and then we would just lose to like bad teams.
Velocity.
Yeah, velocity. So if we can just like get it together. And I think we've gotten it together in the last 2 weeks. And I don't know, anything can happen. You know, this next week we could slack off, or like one of us could just play really bad and we could just lose.
Yeah.
But I think right now we're playing pretty well, and everyone on the team is playing well. So that's really important for consistency.
Yeah. Dexter, what has it been like for you to be living in the CLG house now that you've been here for a couple of weeks? I think it's safe to sort of ask you this question, and especially since we have Doublelift in the interview, you know, what's it like living with him and having him as a member of the team?
Well, living in the house is it's pretty big, and the only problem I have is that we live in like a residential area, and I don't even have a driver license, so I always have to ask people like if they go out for food or something. Normally people just leave for food randomly, and then like I'm just sitting there alone, and then I was like, oh fuck, I don't have anything. Yeah. So yeah, that's like the only problem I have, because it's like LA and you need a car, and I don't have one. So, but other than that, it's like we get along pretty well with each other, I think, and yeah, it's pretty funny to live with all the guys there.
So, like, for instance, tonight for dinner, do you plan on, you know, maybe going out with Kelby or something like that?
I heard that he's like really busy right now at the moment and has a lot of stuff going on. So I don't think he will join me for dinner. So I just have to look out for someone else. Yeah.
Did you ask him or anything?
I asked him, yeah, and he said no, he's busy. So I was just like, okay, it's the manager, you know, manager and his
Nothing
duties,
you can
so
do.
Nothing you can
The
do.
tyranny is real.
Because I've read a lot of things about Kelby on Reddit, and it feels as though, you know, like maybe he doesn't really care about the team. It seems as though that might be justified in the fact that he doesn't want to go get dinner with you tonight. Do you think perhaps like the assistant manager, Matt Com, also the artist on the team, might get dinner with you?
Yeah, most likely. Like, it's just his job. Like Kelby said that if he doesn't care, then Madcom has to care about us. Okay. That's what he does. And then, yeah, usually he just goes out with us for food. So it's good.
Doublelift, has this been your experience as well?
Yeah, like when you think Kelby, you think Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Stalin, you know, these kind of guys.
Yeah.
Really comparable, honestly, with Kelby May.
Yeah. And then, like, what is Matt Com in that situation? Because, you know, he's like the assistant manager or whatever.
I don't know. I'm not a history major, Travis. Okay. I don't know anything about this stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'd bring up, you know, some other European examples of tyranny, but Dexter's here. So the big question I have is just you know, what is the deal with this, Dexter? I've you know, we already brought up Europe now, so it's too late. But I'd like to say what's happening here with your bag?
Because they're pointing at his shoes.
Yeah. No,
I like Dexter's shoes a lot.
Well, the shoes are nice. Adidas. Yeah. I think that's a Copenhagen Wolves thing, though, right?
I don't know.
Adidas. Yeah. But if you show your bag, I'm disturbed by something that I'm seeing here.
Why? It's Europe on it.
Yeah. Well, that's a disturbing thing. Doublelift, do you think the fact that he has like League of Legends European branded stuff is a sign that perhaps he's like a spy?
We've known that he's been working for NIP since he joined the team, but we just haven't told him that we know yet.
Okay, so what's the long-term plan to you know, deal with Dexter? Because, you know, I don't know.
See, we're also working for NIP, so that's like the twist at the very end of the movie.
Yeah. All right. So is CLG eventually going to get bought out by NIP then, Dexter?
Everything can happen. Esport is business, you know, and then if they decide to buy another team, so yeah, they can just buy us. Yeah.
Now, if we could just bring this full circle, I know we've talked about Kelby May and his role on the team. What do you think his involvement is in this strange, like, NIP's buying CLG plot? Doublelift.
What? I don't know, Travis. Kelby is just a very enigmatic figure. Honestly, he's really, like, he's not transparent at all. He doesn't tell us anything about what's going on. Yeah. We just blindly trust him to do stuff for us. It's been working out pretty well so far.
Yeah. All right. Well, other than that, anything else that's happening with you guys on CLG coming up? Anything to talk about, Dexter or Doublelift?
I don't know. I just hope we keep continuing being good and just get like top 2. That's our goal. Okay. So yeah, TSM dropped the game yesterday, one step closer. So we just want to win every game from now on. So that's it.
Are you guys? Do you think you're able to take TSM? Because I mean, Cloud9 has been dropping, you know, a couple more games I think than TSM. TSM looks like their win streak just ended. What do you think your chances are, Double?
For TSM, not so much, because people like really fear Bjergsen mid. I think like the general pro. I don't know what the community consensus is, but I think it probably falls in line with like what the pros think. Like if you're an LCS mid laner and you're playing against Bjergsen, you have like fear. It's like it's almost like playing against Faker in Korea. You know, it's like, oh, I'm playing against Bjergsen. He is the best mid in NA, and you like a lot of these mids I think now have a mental block. Especially when I watch Voidboy play against Bjergsen, I really think that Voidboy has like a huge mental block versus Bjergsen. Yeah. And it's when you have like that kind of mentality of going in and just accepting that you're worse than that guy, you're never going to win. And that's why I think Bjergsen's crushing everyone. So it's going to be hard for us to overtake TSM, but Cloud9's not impossible. I think people like now in the pro scene, at least, people are kind of like underrating Cloud9's laners. They're like, oh, they're not that good. Balls is the only good laner on their team. We can beat them. You know, they're not undefeatable. And it's true. Like Cloud9 really isn't undefeatable. So, I think we might be able to overtake Cloud9. Yeah. Top 2 is our goal.
Hey, one last question at the very end of this because I just sort of thought about it. I get a lot of criticism, I think, for bringing up Reddit, but in this situation, I think it might be kind of safe. We've seen a lot of anger, frustration towards XDG, and even like today, curse, I think, on Reddit. And I realize that this is just sort of a community. Like the idea is that this is a community that's somewhat separate from the pro players, but all you guys engage with Reddit to some extent, and you look at stuff on there, you visit it. What are your thoughts of just the community's reaction to XDG, Curse, and just the general atmosphere on the subreddit as of late?
Well, I like briefly skimmed your interview with Reggie, where I think Reggie pinned most of the blame on the players, and like that's just 100% true. I don't understand like any. There's no like reason to ever blame the organization. Like the organization is just there as a name, and like they give them the money, they give them the house, and they say, okay, like what do you guys want to do? How much do you guys want to practice? And then the players will always say, we want to practice this much, we want this much time off, and we want to do this and this and this. These are our goals. And if the team is doing badly, it's because the players are not making the right decisions with rosters and stuff. The management for any team will never be like, okay, you're off the team and you're moving to this position, you're moving to this position. It's always the players. So to blame management for anything, it's just wrong. It's really easy to do it. You just be like, oh wow, like there's no way that like Psycho Sid could have done it, or like Bloodwater could have made a bad decision. It's got to be XCG's management. So it's just really silly. I think what happened really with teams that fall off and teams that play badly is the players aren't putting enough work, or the players are slacking off, and it's hard for the community to see that because they don't live with these guys. So they just say, oh, it was XGG's management. Yeah.
And just for the context of CLG, you guys also have Hotshot on the team. I see a lot of people on Reddit talk about, oh, Hotshot did this, Hotshot made this decision. I'd actually really like to know, because he's kind of in the strange position with you guys of being a player who's now kind of the coach who also owns, so he's somewhat kind of management. What is his involvement in terms of all that kind of stuff?
Give it to Dexter, dude.
Well,
answer everything.
I'm somewhat afraid to give Dexter the microphone when it comes to Reddit stuff because he's pissed
off.
Oh yeah,
dude, Reddit hates Dexter now.
Yeah.
Well,
you answer first, and then Dexter can.
Hotshot's involvement with the team is honestly pretty limited. He does help us in some regards to like how we think about the game. He gives us his insight on like how to improve, what our biggest problems is, what he likes to see, what he wants, what champions he wants us to play. But for the most part, like team decisions about how much we're practicing, how we're gonna approach the game, our picks, our bans, and just the way that we choose to play it's up to us. So I don't see any really flack for Hotshot, and I'm glad that he's getting some praise, here and there, because he is like a legend. But if things start going wrong, it would be ridiculous to ever blame anything on Hotshot. It's always the players.
Okay. Dexter, and I'll throw you the microphone. Hopefully, people don't villainize you. But again, with XDG, and then again today, I saw this thread that's like, wow, with XDG, Curse is kind of getting off easily. What are your general thoughts on Reddit lately?
Well, the fact that no player of the team from XDG or Curse or whatever has stood up for his own teammates should show enough. Like I agree with Doublelift that players are 100% like that a factor of everything happening. It's not the management, it's not everything, it's just the players. And if, for example, like a teammate of mine would be attacked like this on Reddit, and we're like, yeah, Reddit was like, replace this guy, blah blah blah. I would just like, no, it's it's wrong. And yeah, if I have the feeling that one of my teammates gets like blamed constantly and everything, I would just say no, like it's a team decision. We don't do any roster changes or something, and I would stand up for him on Twitter or something. And yeah, but for the whole XDG thing, I think Bloodwater wanted to retire, right? Like after the split, and just to kick him out and cause even more drama, I think it was a wrong decision, because during the splits you have enough time to prepare for Worlds. Like everyone who says, yeah, the spring split is just there for like practice, right? I mean, I went to Worlds and I didn't even have the spring split to practice. We just were a new team, came together, practiced, and then we just went to Worlds, you know? And yeah, I think it all depends on the player's mentality. If the players have a really good mentality towards practice and how to approach the game, or they have someone like Monty for the mindset, then you can improve in like 2 weeks. If you have if you change your mindset completely and your bad habits and everything, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to do because once you develop certain habits, it's really hard to get them out of the system. But yeah, I think if you have someone that helps you with it and you really try to change your mindset, then in 2 weeks you can be a different team, I think.
All right, just last thought. Doublelift, what are we doing tomorrow?
Well, I wanted to go to LACMA with the art museum, so I could take the picture that everyone takes in front of the pillars. But I don't think it's gonna happen because the people we're going with are busy till later. So what are we doing tomorrow, Travis? You're supposed to come up with these plans, dude.
Do you have any shout-outs, plugs, anything you want to say, Dexter?
Yeah, shout outs to our sponsors. Azubu, iBuyPower, Razer, and NZXT.
You said Z instead of Z.
I learned.
You did. And with that, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this interview with Dexter and Doublelift, the Double Ds. Yeah.
Ooh.
Notice I'm shaking your hand with a Cloud9 elimination bracelet.
Spy.
Yeah.
Fucking spy.
Suck it, Kelby. You can check out the rest of our coverage at ongavers.com.